This is lesson 48 for Saxon 4, multiplying two-digit numbers, part 2. This is the lessons part 2, so this is the whole lesson. So what we're looking at again is we're looking at multiplying two-digit numbers. The first thing we're going to do is start with our word problem. The contractor purchased 8 doors for $64. So he has 8 doors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And each one is $64. Now, instead of taking all of these and adding all of them up, because it is repeated addition, we can do multiplication. So we're going to come through and we're going to say, okay, well, that is 64 times 8. Okay, now, just as we did before, you always do one's column first. So 8 times 4, 8 times 4 is 32. Now, again, you can always use your multiplications chart if you need it. If you don't have one on you, I know you all have a computer because that's what you're watching on right now. So look one up on the computer if needed. 8 times 4 is 32. Okay, so I put the 2 down, carry the 3, which means I'm coming down here and we're doing 8. Now remember, we say 8 times 6 because that makes our life easy, but it's actually 8 times 60. Okay, and then I'm adding the 30 from up top down here. Okay, now again, this is what's actually happening. This is what we say. So we say 8 times 6 plus 3. So 8 times 6 is 48 plus 3, 48, 49, 50, 51. So we end up with 512. Okay, again, over here, this is what's actually happening. 48 is actually 480 because you're adding that 0 from the 60, and then you're adding 30, and you're getting 510. Okay, so what I actually have is 510 plus 2, which makes me 512. Okay, both get the same answer. It's just this one understands that 6 is 60 because it's in the tens column, where this one is just kind of your verbal simplified, so that it simplifies it in your brain and you're not having to mess around with hundreds and tens. Okay, this is your verbal simplified, 8 times 4 and 8 times 6. Let's do one more together, and then I'll let you continue. Remember, the biggest thing here is just remembering that you do the ones column, then the tens column. And all your multiplication is just 2-digit by 1-digit. Okay, next one. A chef uses 2 cups of milk to make 1 pot of soup. About how many quarters of milk does he need to make 18 pots of soup? Or quarts of milk does he need to make 18 pots of soup? Well, each pot of soup includes 2 cups of milk, okay? And remember, he's making 18 pots. So 18, we're going to do 2 things here. So 18 times 2. And it does say, remember it does say, when I said that, it said how many quarts of milk does he need to make 18 pots of soup? And it says about. So about means it wants me to round. So 18 is the number I'm going to round. 18 rounds up to 20. So what I'm doing is 20 times 2. So 20 times 2. Okay, again, ones column's tens column. Ones column, 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 2 is 4. You get 40 cups of milk per or 40 cups of milk approximately for 20 pots. Okay, now it asked in that question, it said quarts. It wanted how many quarts of milk, okay? So the chef needed 40 cups of milk, but we were asked for the number of quarts. Since 4 cups equals a quart, we divide by 40 by 4, okay? So we take this 40, okay, there's about 4 cups per quart of milk. So we're taking this 40 and we're going to divide it by 4. Okay, because that's what it's saying. Is it's saying I have 40 cups, 4 cups per 1 quart. So 40 into groups of 4. Okay, and then how many groups of 4 do we have? Which is 10. So there is approximately 10 quarts of milk in 18 pots of 18 pots of soup. Okay, that was a little bit more complicated. Remember, the biggest thing we're learning right now is this. Ones columns, tens column. Okay, but notice I didn't tell you what was happening over here because it was a little bit more complicated of a question. For the quarts and cups, just remember that you can always take a look back in your book. Okay, your book will normally, if it's asking you for that information, it will tell you that information. So look back at the lesson, look back at previous lessons, it'll give you what's up. Also, because you have a laptop, you can also find it out that way. Okay, but make sure you're actually asking the question it's asking. You were not doing 2 times 18. You were doing 2 times 20 because it said about. Okay, remember about means round. That is lesson 48, multiplying two-digit numbers, part 2 for Saxon 4.